Hi, this is Brennan Davis again from Bedrock Games and the Bedrock blog, and today I'm going to be talking about the book Hero Shed No Tears. I reviewed the movie by Choi Yuen and I talked about the book. I just finished reading the book, and so I kind of wanted to get into that and talk about what I thought of the book versus the movie. My initial reaction, and I just finished reading it like moments ago, is the book is outstanding. The book is is a really enjoyable read. It's a lot like the movie. I mean there are some differences, but for the most part, the book and the movie are really close up until like the final chapter. But all the major plot points are fairly similar. The major characters are all fairly similar. Some of the details are different. Some of where certain characters are at a given point in the story is a little different. The translation is done by Deathblade at Wuxia World, and it's really great. I highly recommend it to people. It's not easy to find good translations of this stuff, so definitely people that are interested in wuxia movies should consider checking out Wuxia World because it's got a lot of uh, it's got a lot of content there, and I can't speak for all the stuff, but this book was very good. I was really engrossed with it, and it wasn't it wasn't like that long of a read. It was surprisingly quick. I mean, it's not like I don't know what it would come to in page count, but but it was fairly easy to sit down and read each chapter, and I got through it pretty quickly. And if I had less on my plate during the week, I probably would have finished it in a night or two. So it's really a nice, fast paced, really interesting read. And I think the thing that I like about it is the movie. I had commented the movie really gets into this whole theme of heroes shed no tears, and the book it just explores that more. There's a little more poetry in the book. There's more. You can sort of see a lot of the intelligence of Gulong in this book because there's little pieces that he'll say something and then later it becomes important, that sort of thing. And so I just had deeper appreciation for the characters as a result of reading the book, and I got a better sense too of the setting. Like the when you see these movies, a lot of times they'll talk about like, oh, there's this guy who heads this clan or this guy who heads this security agency. In the books, it's like any other kind of book. When you read the book, you just get more details, and so I was able to understand better how like the Lion sect was sort of set up and how the Great Protection Agency was set up and a little bit more about its purpose and its place in the setting, and the same for everything across the board. Like in a movie you see a guy eating a bowl of noodles, but in a book they tell you what type of noodles he's eating and what kind of dish it is, and you just learn a little bit more. So just from that point of view, and again, this is maybe more towards my gamer audience than to my movie audience, but I thought that was really helpful because whenever I watch these movies, there are some things like I might see an object in a movie and have no idea what it is, and then it takes me forever to Google it and figure it out, and sometimes I don't get an answer. But if you read the books, things are often explained more, and it's just easier to implement them in a game if you're interested in trying to replicate that in your campaign. So so this novel, again, I've read the 11th Son a bunch of times and I love that, but I generally do avoid online fan translations simply because a lot of times what I've encountered is they'll be written by multiple people, and I understand the utility of that, but I just find it frustrating to have different translators working on one thing. I don't find I do watch online series where they do that as well, but it doesn't bother me as much. But with novels, for some reason, because it's all text, I get a little bit frustrated, and I'm just more of a paper person. So but this was really great. I forgot that I was reading it on the internet. I have a lot of trouble reading things online. I'm much better with paper, and I really forgot that I was scrolling down a screen. So that shows you how good it was. And the translator, he has little footnotes that help explain everything. So um, it sounds like a lot of times there'll be a passage in the book, and it'll be like the actual passage might be like a really poetic phrase or verse, but he has to render it as what it literally means so that the reader understands. But then in the footnotes he explains that. So you just get you get a better sense when there's like a pun or a play. Like in a lot of these movies, people's names have more meaning because I think in Chinese the names they can carry additional meaning beyond, like, my name is Brendan, but it doesn't really mean much beyond that. And even if it does have meaning, most people don't really even know what the meaning is. It's not like a word. It's not like an adjective or something. But a lot of these names, they either sound similar to other words or they themselves are a meaningful word. So having that explained each time was really useful, and it's harder to do that in a movie. So and again, a lot of the the content is fairly similar. There are differences, but a lot of times when I've seen movies and then I've looked at the source material, the differences are vast. This is like this is almost like just like a rundown, like chapter by chapter. Everything is kind of in the movie there because the movie's an hour and 40 minutes. Things were changed to make it fit that. Like there are some creative uses of things to get them where they need to be, but it's all kind of there. And again, except for some of the minor details, like the at one point when when Zhu Meng is having his fight where his friend Cleets gets killed in the movie that occurs a little bit differently. People are in like somewhat different places, but otherwise it's pretty. The beats are still there, and there are some character twists that aren't in the movie that are really interesting, and I just need to reread them again because I want to make sure I really understood what happened. But there were some interesting reveals in the book that were not in the movie. The movie does have a reveal that's shared in the book, but there's a difference in one of the key plot developments and in one of the characters that I was surprised by. So I just wanted to let people know about this book. I had mentioned it in my other review, so I'm not going to go over the whole plot line because I covered the plot in my review of Heroes Shed No Tears, the movie. But again, this is definitely worth checking out. And I think I saw the movie and then I read the book. I would encourage other people to maybe go the other way around and read the book first and then go to the movie. I mean, you can do it either way. I think both are acceptable. But I do find that when you are when you know the written material, the movies make more sense. It just like to me, the movie now also makes more sense. But I think it's just it especially with Choi Yuen, one of the big complaints people have is that the movies are confusing. So I think if you read this first, you'll have a deeper appreciation for the plot points. But yeah, so those are my thoughts. I wish I had more to say, but it's all good. So I don't really have any enormous criticisms, and a lot of it was very similar to the movie. So many of my comments would also apply to the book. But the translation is solid. It's very enjoyable to read. I loved the way that the fight scenes were described. I loved the the characters. You got just a lot more uh, descriptions of the characters and their motivations. And there are some differences, and the differences are interesting. And I'm still sort of trying to kind of piece through the differences and see what I think about the different choices that were made for the movie versus the book. But yeah, I really enjoyed this translation, and I really wish I had read it sooner actually, because it's a really great read, and it probably would have enhanced my appreciation of the movie had I read the book before I saw the film. So, anyways, I will let you go. Obviously, I'm a little bit tired, and I will talk to you later.